Hi, this is the Limitless Infinite, and I am Trinity 6, and I'm here to help you align your mind to higher vibrations and higher frequencies. This video is going to be about blessing and charging your water. As we're coming into this age of Aquarius, water is going to be very important, vital for the functionality of our bodies, our souls, uh, and the light that we carry as we are going through this ascension process. So a lot of people, this is also could be considered like programming your water. So it doesn't really matter if you think bless resonates with you or charging or programming, whichever word works for you, that's the one that you use. You have to be comfortable. This is really something, this statement that we're going to go over on the board is one that I learned listening to the discourses of Saint Germain. Now, I have heard other people talking about programming your water so you can speak to your water. There was that, I forget the scientist's name, who did the water experiment, but it was basically like when they shouted at the water, really awful, mean, sort of angry, negative statements, the water basically when it froze in like these really distorted crystalline structures, like not how it normally does. And then when they did that to the opposite and were shouting loving statements into the water, they became these really beautiful geometric crystalline structures. So the words that you speak, which is really paired also with the energy that you're emitting, it literally comes from your body and from your voice and penetrates into the water. And then the water basically has, it's either sort of stabilized in this sort of pure and sacred geometry, or it becomes really unstabilized. And so what we also want to think is that you can do this in your mind, like you can say it to yourself inside your mind, but the spoken word has a lot of power. When you speak a word out loud into your tangible physical world, you're making it sort of a more grounded in the reality that you're living. You're basically resonating the words that you're thinking at a different level because you're using your physical body. A lot of times we have thoughts and then we dismiss them and we never say them out loud, and they don't really manifest or become embedded in the actual physical reality that we have because we never really spoke them out loud. You think this a lot of times when you think something negative, or you're like thinking about something you want to say and then you hold your tongue, so to speak, and you don't say it. It's because the minute you put it out there, it then has the ability to be received by something or anything around you. You have to remember that everything in this world is constantly alive. It's constantly moving. A lot of people forget that even a table, a lamp, a chair, the tapestry, at a microscopic level, it's moving, it's alive. So when you're putting out certain energies, especially with your words, because like I said, they have a different resonating quality when you're actually using your physical voice, these waves go into the molecules that are vibrating within this fabric. And so what I say, what I do, how I feel around these things actually becomes part of them. It changes their resonating qualities as well. It affects how that stuff moves as part of this either object or living thing or other person. So it's really important to just always remember that. So blessing and charging water, this specifically on the board has to do with water that you are ingesting. And it's really important because I forget, I should have looked up the scientist's name, but as part of that experiment, they also realized that when water comes through the pipelines, it actually becomes distorted. Like the structures within the water become they're not in like their original state, like just the bends and curves of the piping and how it's brought in, and probably a lot of the stuff that's going on in the filtering centers and stuff like that, it actually changes the quality of water. So it's not the same as like going out to a beautiful fresh spring and getting natural water that's safe to drink, that's been flowing down a river or has come from the sky or has melted from a glacier. That's sort of water in the natural is what I like to think of as the natural state. That's water that's been outside. That's water that's been exposed to sunlight, or maybe not all the time, but it's water that's been filtered through other natural organic things. So you kind of retain some of its pure qualities. So as part of this, like I had been listening to Saint Germain's discourses, and this was one of the ones that they had actually in the discourse that he teaches, and I find it to be very powerful. I actually have been finding a lot of the teachings there to be powerful. It's all about your own sovereignty. It's all about you making the connection to divine source understanding that you are divine source, and then really calling into action whatever you want by using I am statements. So instead of saying like, I guess people say, I'm blessing this water. I should say that. Or this water is blessed. Or this water is, you might say, this water is programmed to do such and such a thing. But the statement will have more power if you use at the beginning of it. You can use, I am the, some people might say, mighty I am presence. That's another big one. But they put, I am the commanding presence. So you want to pre-charge that. You want to come into the statement as knowing that you are the being doing the charging, and that when you're commanding it, it is done. And it's the same thing if you're using I am the mighty presence that is charging this water. When you think mighty presence or commanding presence, you think of this sort of power that you have that's outside of yourself, and you're commanding this to be done. So it's really tapping into your God or goddess like powers, and then calling into manifestation this action that you want to happen. So if you're just saying this water is, you're not really using your own commanding presence. You're just trying to use a statement in a way. I mean, it can have some effect. Obviously, it's better than saying nothing at all, but you'll have a lot more power if you are using your power, because basically what you're doing is making the connection to divine source. You're tapping into that energy that flows through you because you are a conduit or a gateway for that, and then that light goes into the water as you're commanding it. But if you're saying this water is charged, it's like you're expecting the water to just like tap into its own connection, and then the water is just going to like charge itself. So when you say I am, you're doing the action yourself. It's just like God. It's like when God created the planet. When you're doing this, you're creating this water to have this charged quality. So in their reading, in his discourse, he said, I'm the commanding presence that is charging this water with life-giving essence that I absorb, which renews my body in perfect health and eternal youth. And I'll say again, perfect health and eternal youth. So if you now are in the understanding that you are this gateway, this conduit for this divine light energy to come in through your body, and then it's coming through your body, and now you're directing this energy into this water. You're commanding that the water also carries this life-giving essence. And so when you do this, it allows in your mental body, in your mind, to understand that this water, now that it's charged, when it goes in your body and your body starts absorbing it, it's going to absorb all the great qualities that this now charged water has. And the qualities of that water are infinitely abundant. So when you say perfect health, it can be absolute perfect health. When you say eternal youth, it can be eternal youth. But you also have to be able to charge that with your power of belief. So you have to truly believe that when you are the presence charging this water, that this life-giving essence is able to give you perfect health and eternal youth. But I do find that if you just are using this statement, you are able to channel the energy. And the more you say it, the more you sort of feel the affirmation that it is definitely existent. And I say it out loud, but if you say it in your mind, you definitely want to be able to look at the water and feel like you can see this water being charged with this divine light energy. That will make a difference too. If you are able to visualize that this water is now being charged with this energy, I find that when I say it out loud, it's like instantaneous. I see it and I just like, the visualization just comes immediately. It's almost like because I said it out loud, my brain just responds and I see the visualization and it's there. If I say it in my mind, I feel like sometimes it could be, you might have to practice a little bit, maybe based on your level of belief. But you just want to make sure that if you can pair it also with the visualization, if it comes immediately, that's great and you don't have to think about it, fantastic. But if you're not seeing it, try to visualize it at the same time that you're saying it, because it will make it that much stronger. And so when you say perfect health and eternal youth, you have to remember that your body is made of water. We are water beings. Your body has a ton of water in it. So it's not just about, this statement can go far beyond just charging your water with this life-giving essence. And you can also program your water to do anything as well. You can, but you would also want to say, I am the commanding presence. I am the mighty I am presence, programming this water to ... whatever you want. But The second half of this is also to remember that your body is water. So a lot of times when I'm doing my own self affirmations or statements, I usually try to just call that I can bless, charge, or program the water that is in my body. So a lot of times I will say, and I actually just watched this video the other day and they were saying that the pineal gland holds like a ton of water in there. So the other day I was like, I bless the water that's in my pineal gland. So if you think that it's just there's water existent throughout your whole body, you are able to just affirm to yourself that you can bless your body by blessing the water that is your body. You can say it different ways. Like I think I might have even said it the other day. Like I bless the water that's in my body with divine light and connection to divine source. But it's the same thing. If you want to charge your body, if you can use affirming statements. If you listen to or read some of Saint Germain's stuff, you can actually just self-affirm that you're the commanding presence charging your body with this energy, this connection to source. But sometimes I just like to take it a step further and say, I know that there's this water existent in my body, and I want to make sure that it is sort of harmonized to this state that is more natural to its existence. And so I will charge the water that's in my body. But then you can also use this statement. I use this sometimes when I take baths as well. Like when I'm taking a good soak and I'm trying to have a relaxing, like restorative bath, then I will bless, charge, or program the water to also have this life-giving essence, which I absorb, which renews my body in perfect health and perfect youth. I also use this sometimes when I shower, and just the same thing. It doesn't have to be absorbing internally. It can be absorbing externally. It doesn't matter. If you're exposing your body to water, then it's going to be absorbed either inside or outside. So you can use it both ways. But I hope this video was helpful. I just kind of wanted to put a video out there on blessing and charging and also program, because it's really all the same thing. But the most important thing is that you charge this statement with the I am, that you are the one doing this action, and to not just try to make a statement about the water that has it. You want to definitively be the action, so that way you're allowing this divine energy to come through you, and then you're amplifying that power or that light with your belief in the statement and what it that it can do any of these qualities that you're imbuing it to do. So just remember that. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. Leave them down below, and I will see you in my next video.